Chapter 8. I Make a Dangerous Promise. Blackjack gave me a ride down to the beach, and I have to admit it was cool. Being on a flying horse, skimming over the waves at 100 miles an hour with the wind in my hair and the sea spray in my face, hey, it beats water skiing any day. Here, Blackjack slowed and turned in a circle. Straight down. Thanks. I tumbled off his back and plunged into the icy sea. I'd gotten more comfortable doing stunts like that in the past couple of years. I could pretty much move however I wanted to underwater, just by willing the ocean currents to change around me and propel me along. I could breathe underwater no problem, and my clothes never got wet unless I wanted them to. I shot down into the darkness. 20, 30, 40 feet. The pressure wasn't uncomfortable. I'd never tried to push it, to see if there was a limit to how deep I could dive. I knew most regular humans couldn't go past 200 feet without crumpling like an aluminum can. I should have been blind, too, this deep in the water at night, but I could see the heat from living forms and the cold of the currents. It's hard to describe. It wasn't like regular seeing, but I could tell where everything was. As I got closer to the bottom, I saw 3 hippocampi, fish-tailed horses, swimming in a circle around the overturned boat. The hippocampi were beautiful to watch. Their fish tails shimmered in rainbow colors, glowing phosphorescent. Their manes were white, and they were galloping through the water the way nervous horses do in a thunderstorm. Something was upsetting them. I got closer and saw the problem. A dark shape, some kind of animal, was wedged halfway under the boat and tangled in a fishing net, one of those big nets they use on trawlers to catch everything at once. I hated those things. It was bad enough they drowned porpoises and dolphins, but they also occasionally caught mythological animals. When the nets got tangled, some lazy fishermen would just cut them loose and let the trapped animals die. Apparently, this poor creature had been mucking around at the bottom of Long Island Sound, and had somehow gotten itself tangled in the net of this sunken fishing boat. It had tried to get out and managed to get even more hopelessly stuck, shifting the boat in the process. Now the wreckage of the hull, which was resting against a big rock, was teetering and threatening to collapse on top of the tangled animal. The hippocampi were swimming around frantically, wanting to help, but not sure how. One was trying to chew the net, but hippocampi teeth just aren't meant for cutting rope. Hippocampi are really strong, but they don't have hands, and they're not all that smart. Free it, Lord, Hippocampus said when it saw me. The others joined in, asking the same thing. I swam in for a closer look at the tangled creature. At first, I thought it was a young hippocampus. I'd rescued several of them before. Then, I heard a strange sound, something that did not belong underwater. Moo. I got next to the thing and saw it was a cow. I mean, I'd heard of sea cows, like manatees and stuff, but this was a real cow with the back end of a serpent. The front half was a calf, a baby, with black fur and big, sad brown eyes and a white muzzle, and its back half was a black and brown, snaky tail, with fins running down the top and bottom, like an enormous eel. Whoa, little one, I said. Where did you come from? The creature looked at me sadly. Moo! But I couldn't understand its thoughts. I only speak horse. We don't know what it is, Lord, one of the hippocampi said. Many strange things are stirring. Have John help you. Yeah, I murmured, so I've heard. I uncapped Riptide, and the sword grew to full length in my hands, its bronze blade gleaming in the dark. John, help him. The cow serpent freaked out and started struggling against the net, its eyes full of terror. Whoa, I said. I'm not going to hurt you. Just let me cut the net. But the cow serpent thrashed around and got even more tangled. The boat started to tilt, stirring up the muck on the sea bottom and threatening to topple onto the cow serpent. The hippocampi whinnied in a panic and thrashed in the water, which didn't help. Okay, I said. I put away the sword and started speaking as calmly as I could so the hippocampi and the cow serpent would stop panicking. I didn't know if it was possible to get stampeded underwater, but I really didn't want to find out. It's cool, no sword, see? No sword, calm thoughts, seagrass, mama cows, vegetarianism. I doubted the cow serpent understood what I was saying, but it responded to the tone of my voice. The hippocampi were still skittish, but they stopped swirling around me so fast. Free it, Lord! They pleaded. Yeah, I said. I got that part. I'm thinking. But how could I free the cow serpent when she, I decided it was probably a she, panicked at the sight of a blade? It was like she'd seen swords before and knew how dangerous they were. All right, I told the hippocampi. I need all of you to push exactly the way I tell you. First, we started with the boat. It wasn't easy, but with the strength of 3 horsepower, we managed to shift the wreckage so it was no longer threatening to collapse on the baby cow serpent. Then I went to work on the net, untangling it section by section, getting lead weights and fishing hooks straightened out, yanking out the knots around the cow serpent's hooves. It took forever. I mean, it was worse than the time I'd had to untangle all my video game controller wires. The whole time I kept talking to the cowfish, telling her everything was okay, while she mooed and moaned. It's okay, Bessie, I said. Don't ask me why I started calling her that. It just seemed like a good cow name. Good cow. Nice cow. Finally, the net came off, and the cow serpent zipped through the water and did a happy somersault. The hippocampi whinnied with joy. Thank you, Lord. Moo! The cow serpent nuzzled me and gave me big brown eyes. Yeah, I said. That's okay. Nice cow. We'll stay out of trouble. Which reminded me, I'd been underwater how long? An hour at least. I had to get back to my cabin before Argus or the harpies discovered I was breaking curfew. I shot to the surface and broke through. Immediately, Blackjack zoomed down and let me catch hold of his neck. He lifted me into the air and took me back toward the shore. Success, boss? Yeah, we rescued a baby, I don't know, something or other. Took forever. Almost got stampeded. Good deeds are always dangerous, boss. You saved my sorry mane, didn't you? I couldn't help thinking about my dream with Annabeth crumpled and lifeless in Luke's arms. Here I was, rescuing baby monsters. But I couldn't save my friend. As Blackjack flew back toward my cabin, I happened to glance at the dining pavilion. I saw a figure, a boy, hunkered down behind a Greek column like he was hiding from someone. It was Nico, but it wasn't even dawn yet. Nowhere near time for breakfast. What was he doing up there? I hesitated. The last thing I wanted was The last thing I wanted was more time for Nico to tell me about his mythomagic game. But something was wrong. I could tell by the way he was crouching. Blackjack, I said, set me down over there, will you? Behind that column. I almost blew it. I was coming up the steps behind Nico. He didn't see me at all. He was behind a column, peeking around the corner, all of his attention focused in the dining area. I was 5 feet away from him, and I was about to say, "What are you doing?" real loud, when it occurred to me that he was pulling a Grover. He was spying on the hunters. There were voices, 2 girls, talking at one of the dining tables. At this ungodly hour of the morning? Well, unless you're the goddess of dawn, I guess. I took Annabeth's magic cap out of my pocket and put it on. I didn't feel any different, but when I raised my arms, I couldn't see them. I was invisible. I crept up to Nico and sneaked around him. I couldn't see the girls very well in the dark, but I knew their voices. Zoe and Bianca. It sounded like they were arguing. "It cannot be cured," Zoe was saying. "Not quickly, at any rate." "But how did it happen?" Bianca asked. "Foolish prank," Zoe growled. "These Stoll boys from the Hermes cabin. Centaur blood is like acid, everybody knows that. They sprayed the inside of the Armistice Hunting Tour t-shirt with it." "That's terrible." "She will live," Zoe said, "but she'll be bedridden for weeks with horrible hives. There is no way she can go. It's up to me and thee." "But the prophecy," Bianca said. "If Phoebe can't go, we'll only have 4. We'll have to pick another." "There is no time," Zoe said. "We must leave at first light. That's immediately. Besides, the prophecy said we would lose one." "In the land without rain," Bianca said, "but that can't be here." "It might be," Zoe said, though she didn't sound convinced. "The camp has magic borders. Nothing, not even weather, is allowed in without permission. It could be a land without rain. But, Bianca, hear me." Zoe's voice was strained. I can't explain, but I have a sense that we should not pick someone else. It would be too dangerous. They would meet an end worse than Phoebe's. I don't want Chiron choosing a camper as our 5th companion, and I don't want to risk another hunter." Bianca was silent. "You should tell Talia the rest of your dream." "No, it would not help. But if your suspicions are correct about the general, I have thy word not to talk about that." Zoe said. She sounded really anguished. Now come. Dawn is breaking. They will find out soon enough. Nico scooted out of their way. He was faster than me. As the girl sprinted down the steps, Zoe almost ran into me. She froze, eyes narrowing. Her hand crept toward her bow, but then Bianca said, The lights at the big house are on. Hurry! Then Zoe followed her out of the pavilion. I could tell what Nico was thinking. He took a deep breath and was about to run after his sister when I took off the invisibility cap and said, Wait. He almost slipped on the icy steps as he spun around to find me. Where did you come from? I've been here the whole time. Invisible. He mouthed the word invisible. Wow, cool. How did you know Zoe and your sister would be here? He blushed. I heard them walk by the Hermes cabin. I don't sleep too well at camp, so I heard footsteps. And them whispering, so I kind of followed. And now you're thinking of following them into the quest, I guessed? How did you know that? Because if it were my sister, I'd probably be thinking the same thing. But you can't. He looked defiant. Because I'm too young? Because they won't let you. They'll catch you and send you back here, and yeah, because you're too young. You remember the Manticore? There'll be lots more like that. More dangerous. Some of the heroes will die. His shoulders sagged. He shifted from foot to foot. Maybe you're right. But you can go for me. Say what? You can turn invisible. You can go. The hunters don't like boys, I reminded him. If they find out, don't let them find out. Follow them invisibly. Keep an eye on my sister. You have to, please. Nico, you're planning to go anyway, aren't you? I wanted to say no, but he looked me in the eyes, and I somehow couldn't lie to him. Yeah, I said, I have to find Annabeth. I have to help, even if they don't want me to. Shh! I won't tell on you, he said, but you have to promise to keep my sister safe. That's a big thing to promise Nico on a trip like this. Besides, she's got Zoe, Grover, Talia. Promise, he insisted. I'll do my best. I promised that. Get going then, he said. Good luck. It was crazy. I wasn't packed. I had nothing but the cap and the sword and the clothes I was wearing. I was supposed to be going home to Manhattan this morning. Tell Chiron I'll make something up, Nico smiled crookedly. I'm good at that. Go on. I ran, putting on Annabeth's cap. As the sun came up, I turned invisible. I hit the top of Half-Blood Hill in time to see the camp's van disappearing down the farm road. Probably Argus taking the quest group to the city. After that, they would be on their own. I felt a twinge of guilt and stupidity, too. How was I supposed to keep up with them? Run? Then I heard the beating of huge wings. Blackjack landed next to me. He began casually nuzzling a few tufts of grass that stuck through the ice. If I was guessing, boss, I'd say you need a getaway horse. You interested? A lump of gratitude stuck in my throat, but I managed to say, yeah, let's fly.